guess I'll give you a little bit. We obviously are finished with however many practices this is, 6 or 7, I'm not sure. Doing really well with the guys that are out there. We're in the same scenario that we were in the spring with total number of reps, getting a lot of reps, so it's really good. The guys are excited, we're excited. Got a long ways to go, but we're getting a little bit better each day. Anybody got anything?
Because of the circumstances with the conference unsettled situation, is there more pressure on you than ever? You guys have been really good for a long time. Is there more pressure than ever to, hey, be even better, just to put OSU in the best possible position?
I think we're in a great position. I mean, we've been top 10 in the country in the last decade. We got a ton of views across the country. I hadn't thought about it that way, but that's one thing I don't have to concern myself with. Somebody else has to make those decisions. But I haven't heard anything from the players. We're just going to stay the course.
Trey said the other day that he'd rather play from a position of underdog than front runner. Do you have a preference as a coach?
Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday, dear Gundy. Happy birthday to you. I want a piece of it.
You guys get a piece. You get a piece. What kind of it? All right, love you guys. I mean, that's always the easiest way to play. You know, the good news is this. We've talked about this for years. In my opinion, they shouldn't even have a poll until October 1st, based on everybody's just projecting what somebody thinks. It's fun. It gives people something to talk about, but until we've all played 3 or 4 games, we really don't know who we are, where we stand, including us, based on players that'll have to compete 30 or 40 plays in a game that may have not played in the past. You know a lot more about yourself come October 1.
Coach, I know that I talked a little bit to Charlie Dickey, and you're an old school guy. There's a position battle going on at left tackle. Materko won the job in the spring. Here comes Etienne, who's pretty highly regarded. And if you watch those guys, they take every rep like it's the last play of their life. It's kind of fun to watch guys go at it like that.
Well, competition is a driving force. I mean, it's when you have that at any particular position, and you have 2 or 3 players that are hungry, and it's important to them, it essentially takes care of itself. You know, complacency with knowing I'm the guy at a certain position at times can create issues for that person and your team. So the competition is really good. Each one of them gets better every day, and there's a chance we're going to need both of them. And if both of them are good enough to play at a level to help us win games, we can rotate them and keep them fresh. That'd be a bonus.
With all the OU and Texas SEC stuff, has recruiting changed for you? Has it been more difficult?
No, it hasn't changed for us. I mean, everything has been the same for us. I mean, we've had meetings and discussions, but we haven't really gotten to a point where it's changed.
Is that a concern moving forward that the recruiting will change in Texas, especially?
Well, I mean, I'm just going on what people tell me, which is everybody guessing that the league is intact for X number of years. So it's really too far down the line for me to think about. Now, if something were to drastically change quickly, then we would start to come up with a plan.
Casey Dunn spoke the other day about the maturity that Tay Martin has brought to his new role. How have you seen that develop over the course of the offseason?
Well, he's been mature for 3 months. Well, I shouldn't say that. He was really good in winter conditioning. And then these last 3 months, which June, July, and so far in August, he's been very mature and is going to give himself a chance to perform at a high level and make some money playing this game if he can stay focused and stay the course over the next 4 months. That gives him the best chance. But yes, he is considerably better than he was at this time last year because he's finally in good physical condition.
Was that the biggest change? Was that the biggest change, or were there other differences?
Yeah. He was not in shape in conditioning to play in our offense last year until the bowl game.
Speaking of receiver, you said last Friday, first day, you were interested in watching the receivers, interested in watching the running backs to make sure you were as deep as you thought you were. And I know it's still early, but have you had a lot of guys step up? Have you seen at both positions a lot of guys make plays?
I don't think there's any question we have quality depth past what we've had years back at running back. I think I'm fairly certain about that. We have young and inexperienced depth at wideout that a year from now we'll be talking about trying to get guys reps. So I like both positions, but the running backs are more mature than the wideouts are at this time.
How has Dominic Richardson matured in the last year?
He's saying he's doing, he's a year into it, so I mean he's like most freshmen. He's trying to find his way through, and we played him in some game last year toward the end of the season, and he played pretty well. But he went through August, September, October. I think it was November, so he was 3 more months into it, and just the reps they get out here helps them develop. And Chuba didn't practice much last year. There was times LD was beat up, so Dominic was getting a lot of practice time with the 1s and 2s, and that's where guys get better.
Outside of Logan Carter, you don't have a ton of experience at Cowboy back. How have you kind of seen that develop this fall?
That's one of the areas that we're focusing on as we speak, in trying to develop or see who's going to develop into being that 2, and then move forward with the new guy. Austin just got in here a couple weeks ago, so his head's spinning. How long will that take place until he can somewhat solidify himself comfortably where he can compete and not think by playing fast? But that is something that we're talking about now in how we're shaping our game plan to make sure those guys are comfortable.
We've had a chance to talk to Trey Sterling. Today we'll get a chance to talk to Tanner McAllister. You've watched safeties your whole life as a player, focused in on them now as a coach. How much, is it hard to tell how much the 3 together make each one individually better because they are so experienced and they are so talented?
They're all like a backcourt in basketball, guys working well together and understand different things, and the experience they have gives them a lot of flexibility and disguise coverage and different things Coach Knowles would like to get accomplished. That position is somewhat like playing quarterback. I'm not going to say to that extreme, but somewhat like playing quarterback, because they have so many different keys and things that are going on in your head, and then you have to be able to support run at some time, but then also defend versus the deep ball, which is a big threat in this league.
Another guy we'll speak to this afternoon is Brendan Evers, and he seems to me to be kind of a lunch pail, blue-collar kind of guy for you.
He's had his best summer ever. Yeah, I saw him in the weight room every day, even on off days, working on flexibility, and he's very mature. He's been around a long time. His attitude's great, and I think he's had his best summer. And in most cases, you'll see that in the fall.
Coach Gundy, Devin Harper has waited his turn for a starting spot. Now he's stepping in for Eamon. How have you seen him change or develop now that he's preparing to be a starter?
Obviously, he's in there, and he's getting a lot of reps right now. And so his experience brings a lot. These guys that have been around a long time, they're naturally better just from being out here. And when you have players that have been, like this year across the country, teams that have a high percentage or a big number of what we call super seniors, it's a big advantage for those schools because they have X number of free players on their roster that have 5 years of experience. And he's one of those for us.
Speaking of guys who've been around for a long time, but in a different sense, Trayson Wallace is out there still in that student coach role. Today he was out there, showing the young guys with the jugs machine, catching balls. Just how do you think that helps the team when he's out there as a role model for them?
He's been with us a couple years or so in that role, and he wants to coach, so he's an awesome internship, and we put a lot on him. He's going to continue to get better and better. And as he develops through this program, he'll be able to get a start somewhere. Being in our offense and learning our offense and understanding what we do and why we do it is a big advantage for him as he markets himself for a job at another school.
Outside practice, what does the day-to-day look like? What are the responsibilities you depend on for him?
For Trayson, Well, he has a lot of grunt work. He does a lot of paperwork, a lot of write-ups, a lot of computer work, running copies. Coach Dunn, as does Coach Knowles, they have a group of young coaches, as I call them, that have responsibilities all throughout the day. And they put a lot on them. And those guys have to fulfill all those different things throughout the day to get ready for video, get ready for tomorrow's practice, make sure that we're prepared not only by coaches and players, but the setup of drills and just everything out here on the field. They have a lot of work on a daily basis.
Great.
You may have touched on this a little bit on your opening statement, but given how what the spring went with getting a lot of reps for all the young guys, and now that you're about almost a full week through, do you get the sense that maybe this group is a little further along than, I know every year's different, but compared to other seasons at all, you get that sense?
So what's happened is what we wanted to happen was now you'll get 2 or 3 players a day that miss a day with a hamstring tight or an ankle or whatever it might be. So the guy that's working with the 2s moves to the 1s. So the guy that's been working with the 3s moves to the 2s. And then the 2s don't slow down now because the guy that's had all the reps, he can move into that role and we can function as a unit. So what happens is when you have a couple guys that get banged up and then you throw young players in with the 2s, if they can't function, then all 22 guys on both sides of the ball struggle because of what they're doing. Now I'm seeing these guys move up and we're still practicing at a really good pace. And I'm not saying they're ready to step in a game and play. What I'm saying they're ready to do is let us function in practice, and they're much further along. The other thing I'm seeing is the attitude and body language of the young players that are here that are getting just as many reps as the 1s. Their attitude and body language is better than what it's traditionally been because they're not just standing around, they're out there getting work. They make mistakes, they see themselves make mistakes, they're coached on film by their coaches, and they come back out. There's a little bit of an excitement level. You know, I'm sure they're calling their mom and dad saying, hey, I'm practicing. I mean, I'm actually doing it. So that's pretty cool.
Braden Johnson, he's a guy, he's primarily played on the outside, moved into the slot this year. What do you like about him being in that slot?
He's a slot receiver. We've had to bounce him around a little bit at times with injury, but that's his strength. He's extremely fast, we all know that, and he's very shifty. And he's got enough strength to where he can block inside on the nickelbacks and safeties and such. That's his spot. We're expecting him to have a good year. He's in good shape, and he's very focused at this time. So if he'll just stay the course, he should have a good year, stays healthy, and he'll get a chance to play this game at the next level. All based on his work ethic from this point moving forward.
Trey Sterling and Coach Knowles talked about instituting a little bit more zone. How have you seen that so far in fall, and how do you think that can help come Big 12 play, adding a little more zone into the defense?
Well, we ran some last year, and we'll run some this year based on who we play. We're going to try to play our strength against what we think is their strength, and the defensive side of it is how much you're going to blitz, how much you're going to play zone, different areas like that. But we have to be prepared so when we face a team that's really, really skilled on the perimeter, and it's extremely difficult to play man coverage against really good players. If you're a DB and I'm a wideout and our talent level is the same, I should win most of the battles because I know where I'm going and you don't. Okay? And if we get in that situation, we have to be able to play zone at times to try to minimize big plays.
Do you have any memories of Byron Bird?
Byron Bird. I know the name. Is that baseball?
No, it's the old guy that trained always shoe go. The training staff.
Oh, okay. That's where I've seen it. No, I don't have any, but I know the name. I've seen him around. I've seen pictures of him around. No, that was way before me, right?
Well, he was still around in the 80s, but I didn't know what he was still doing. He might not have been doing much.
Yeah, because I had Doc Fair and Doc Cooper, and then back then they only had one assistant. There's just 3 people that did it. And so I never saw him, but I've seen his picture and his name under something, yes.
Has the vaccination percentage changed from the 83% you put out the other night?
What about vaccination?
Has that percentage shifted from the other night?
Not that I know of. I think we're at 83%. We had I think I mentioned we had an outside source come in and talk to our team, and That way they know if they want to get vaccinated, we can get them over to the health center and get it taken care of. But they have not given me any information on any new vaccinations since that.
And is there a percentage you'd want to be at by September 4th?
Well, I want to get as many players vaccinated as we can get to protect the team and other people. And so, you know, as I said, we will have a percentage that can't get it based on a prior health condition. So we will not be at 100%. And in fact, I think that the most we could be at was 94. And that's just one of those issues that everybody has a right to their own opinion. So I'll say it again, we want to educate them and give them quality information and then allow them to make the decision based on what they think's best for them, their family, friends, and our team.
How about the guys with the birthday stuff?
Which one?
Just the guys bringing over the birthday.
Oh yeah,
cake
yeah.
and
They
everything
like to
that.
give me a hard time. You know, I'm at the age, you're a long ways, but I'm at the age you don't really look forward to birthdays anymore. I was telling a couple of the young girls that are up there videoing, it's been 40, let's see, 13, 23, 33, 43, 53. So 41 years since I've actually had a birthday that I wasn't at a practice. Because it started in 7th grade when you started 7th grade football. And so it's been 41 years, which I guess is a good thing. But you kind of like those to slide on by. You'll understand that. Once you have to get up twice in the night to go to the bathroom, you'll understand that.
So I shouldn't ask you what you're having for what you ordered for dinner tonight.
German chocolate cake is my favorite. And then I have a bad habit of I'll eat anything. There's not much that I won't eat. Now, I do not eat sushi, but anything else, you know, people always, you get in the car with the kids back in the day when the kids were home and, you know, you ask them where you want to go, which is a bad mistake because then they argue over where you want to go. You shouldn't ask them. Wherever anybody goes, I don't care. I can eat. I eat food. I like to eat food. Good?